Hello world. Patricia O'Connor and Frida Reba Darcy here. It is Friday night at the Bonsai Balcony. We are at Frida's place. We're both piled up on the couch like we don't know any better. And what you're looking at is a auction acquisition that is recovering from being shipped from Florida. To be blunt, some of the needles on the face of it look like they've had a pretty hard time. They're starting to show some of the signs of their travels. I don't think they're in bad shape. I mean, I think some of the needles are. I don't think the branches necessarily are. While we're going to go through that, the rest of the tree looks like it is doing nicely. I've got, let's see. Can we zoom over? This is, yeah, there she is. I'll give her per diem. There you go, babe. So what I thought I would do tonight is do a little bit of wiring to this guy. I've got some branches that I've already wired this one. And I've already wired this one. And then I checked frame and saw that I had done that without you guys. So we just deleted that. If you don't get to see it, nobody does. And we're going to continue. What'd you miss? Let's see. It was a pretty okay intro here on the Bonsai Balcony. This is our auction acquisition. Oh yeah. It's been a weird week for news. I hope wherever you are, whatever you're doing, wherever you live, that you feel safe and warm and dry and protected and like your world is doing okay. It's been a bad week for that, for some. Some who should be able to take that for granted are not this week. Yeah. I'm so sorry. These are scary times. I hope that everybody who is watching this, I hope all of you and your families feel absolutely safe, warm, and dry and protected in your homes and in your towns and amongst your neighbors. I don't think that's a lot for anybody to expect. And yeah. So I am just throwing a little bit of copper to these tiny little branches in here. Get over here. Whoops. Yeah, where's that? Right there. Frida came from a shelter in Oakland, and she was a single mom in the streets of Oakland before that, and she is one brave little dog. And in the time that I've gotten to know her, it is very obvious that she never stops thinking. In that kind of way that you know, she's not one of those people who is just going to leave it up to me. I think she probably, is real self-resilient, and I think that's probably by design. Uh, I would like for her to never worry about anything. That's what I would like for Frida. Um, Anybody that ever tries to make you feel like you're not welcome, because could be all, well, for me it could be all kind of reasons. That mouth. Um, I'm new to bonsai. I'm transgender. Uh, I've got a southern drawl that even I find annoying on playback. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, I see in the people I love no reason for anybody to ever be mean to them, and by virtue of I'm somebody that they care about, nobody should ever have reason to be mean to me either. I was listening to somebody the other day on a chat that was going on. It was actually a question and answer part of our lessons, and a new person was saying that they were kind of getting some backlash from some of the elders in their bonsai group. I think because they were new. I wasn't there. I don't know. What I see of the person who mentioned this was a very enthusiastic student who was paying to be a student at the time, and they probably thought that their club would be a good avenue too. Well, it's no guarantee that when you go to a club, everybody's going to be just totally accepting. There's going to be more than one personality type at a club. But right now, bonsai, I think bonsai is changing in a way. Used to, bonsai was the group of people who, to my way of thinking, you would have a bonsai garden if you were into bonsai. That just kind of goes without saying. And how could you have a bonsai garden? That is going to be difficult. And how could you have a bonsai garden without land? So, who were bonsai people? Bonsai people were the people who had enough wherewithal to probably own their own home and had enough time to do bonsai and didn't travel too much to where they could do bonsai. I think that was too small to be wiring. It just was too flimsy, too fragile. Now, for instance, I don't have a back spread. Back when I had land, I didn't have time to do bonsai when I had the space for a garden. I didn't have the time for a garden. And I can tell you, I never needed that zen more in my life than in that particular time of my life. But at the same time, I had to be on the road a lot to keep the house, to keep the lifestyle, to keep the cars and the trucks and the two-car driveway and the house in the neighborhood that had the zoo in it and all that stuff. And it came at the expense of having a hard time appreciating it. I really appreciate my little balcony. I'm not going to wire this right now. It's too tight to get in there. I would tear this up, and I would tear this up. I should probably thin that out some, but right now, with some of these limbs looking a little boogered, I'm not going to. I am going to try to go in here. I'm going to try to go in here with something. These two branches, actually the whole thing could come down. All right, maybe double that up. Frida. So, if you're new to bonsai, you should feel welcome. This is not the biggest honor in the world. This requires patience, and this requires a love of bonsai and everything else. There is such thing as talent, but that's with everything. There's also practice and patience and the give back of Zen and achievement. I get a nice feeling of artistic accomplishment from bonsai, and in truth, I am only half of a partnership, and I don't just mean Frida in this case. I guess we are, because I also mean the tree. The tree is responsible for the other half of this artistic endeavor, and if I do it right, if I make the right choices, that will influence how it develops. That's what I'm trying to say. That's really, really, really rewarding, and I would wish that on anybody who thinks for a minute that they might love that. In fact, if you might love that, that's ingredient one. What I meant about bonsai changing, I don't have a garden. I don't have the back steps leading to the path that goes out to the water feature, that goes out to the monkey poles. I do have 98 trees. When it comes to bonsai, I want for nothing. What I have is sustainable, enjoyable, and suits me and Frida to a T. If I could get in here and support this wire better, that would probably be better for this branch. That was, one of them was pretty easy, the other one was pretty tough. Meaning that these two branches were of borderline difficulty for me to wire, and give yourself that much. Well, oh yeah, I forgot they were wired together. I just decided to flip one branch down and flip the other one over. That's the beauty of the two Heart branch system. So this is kind of like me bending some branches and talking about inclusion. As a person growing up, as a transgender person, I had always, even in hiding from transgender, I was trying to be the boy's boy, right? But I always had inclusion heavily on my mind. I always looked at that person, that boy or that girl that got singled out, because I could so relate to that. I thought, geez, that's me. And at the same time, I'm kind of loud enough to where I seemingly am going unnoticed in all of this. But if they knew, it would be over. That was the, you know, it was like I wasn't a member of a club I wanted to be in. I was a member of a club I felt like I had to be in to keep from getting hurt. That's not a good way, and that also, and that's not what this is about. But what I am saying is I do have that a lot on my mind whenever I see the kind of shenanigans going on in the world, like what I'm seeing right now. And I wouldn't want my bonsai friends to be anguished over things that, especially now with all of the crud that is on social media. And what's on social media? Frida and I are on social media. But there's some stuff on social media now that's designed to traumatize you. And don't think that because somebody went through something horrible that you have to face any sort of demon to know what went on. The fact that that exists is to traumatize you, and there are things you cannot unsee. So that would be my be good to you, everybody out there that that hears this. Be good to you. Don't think that you have to click on everything out there just so that you won't be naive or something. You already know that bad is bad, and they already know that if they hurt one person horribly, that they can hurt one person. But if they hurt one person horribly and then do it in front of their cell phone, that they can gut 1,000. And you don't give that. You figure out what your enemy wants, and that's what they want, and you give them the opposite. You don't lose your perspective on other human beings, but you don't cow down or turn a blind eye to what's going on either, in no uncertain terms. Okay, I'm starting to look at some of this stuff. I am looking at something. I've got a few of these wired the way I want to. This could use a little something. It's kind of doing what I want it to, though. It could probably come up a little. But I think, where are we at? Can you see that like I can see that? You can. We're about to do something. I am, let me see. It's got wire on it. What if I did that? You know what? I'm not liking that. It's not, it's not killing me, but I think what it's doing is it doesn't add to the show, but it is certainly hiding part of it. There. Now not so much. So now we've got all that root work. that our grower did ahead of us. And I've got a really good, this is a good answer to what it is we're doing with all of those plugs. You see, you kind of can see that this was probably at one point raised up like a plug, and now that's starting to solidify with roots that are all growing into one another and doing a really good job too. I love the way all of that is doing. Should I bring this guy back a little? Not up, maybe. All right. I added a couple of pieces of wire before I noticed that I was out of frame. I'm sorry. I thought I was so in. I even did a test shot. But then once I started wiring, it moved, and it moved right out. So I added a little bit more wire to over here, and then we did this guy, and we did these two guys, and I have cut off that branch. I think that's enough for now. There's a lot more stuff. There's a lot more stuff that can be wired, but I'm just going to try to clean it up a little bit. There is a lot more stuff that can be wired, but I don't really think I need to right this minute. It is, some of these guys look a little fragile to me as far as it being thick in there, kind of really thick in there. And I would like for these branches to have a little bit more girth on them before I start trying to wrap them. Let's get that guy out of there. Clean out some of these. I'd like to be able to see in here a little better. Can now. That's two nicely cut buds right there. This guy. Can go. We could even like maybe, go this way, like that. I see that happening here in a minute, in a couple of months. Take this guy down and up, and this guy up, and that's what's got us there. Meanwhile, I can clean this cut up a little bit more. If you're new to bonsai, you are the future of bonsai. I mean, that's just it. If you are don't be intimidated. This world is yours to enjoy. And I have had a tendency in my life to look at the things that I wanted the most. And at the same time, I would go, can I have that? I mean, if you were to ask that, I would know right away, of course you can. You know, because we're talking about you, right? But just knowing how much I want something would kind of make me question whether or not I could have it. And I got to tell you, I wasted a lot of time like that. I wasted a lot of time wondering if I was good enough to be happy, good enough to try something daring. All right, there is probably a few more things I could do to this. We're going to give this is the main thing I would like to do. I'd like to put some wire to that and that, but I'm going to wait on that. And I don't see anything else I think needs to be, I keep seeing things I think needs to be clipped off, but I don't want to go too crazy. Yeah, we can still clean up a few things. Like and subscribe if you guys have not already. I really look forward to seeing how this little pine develops, this little semi-cascade. I even like the pot it's in. It's in kind of a melted chocolate covered unglazed pot. You can kind of still see all of these needles here have a smushed in, bruised up look. Kind of like I described it earlier, like a bouquet that had sat in a box for a couple of days, crooked. Maybe if I do, there, that straightened that right up. All right, I appreciate you. My baby Frida, she appreciates you. This is our Carnage cam. We got our pretty light. And thank you so much for watching. Let's see if we can turn this guy around to a decent. Yeah, there we go.